stakeholders because this is school specific. Now, will there be efforts to do that? Yes. But I do have to tell you, we have been sounding this alarm for months. This isn't the first time we've had this conversation. And like I said, we spent a whole lot of time talking about what other people around the country are doing with little or no problem. But something like this, so my point is yes, we will. But the extent of participation is not going to hinder our ability to submit a proposal that will allow us to move forward.
Mayor Hartwell, quickly.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't a little more direct in answering the question. I knew what I wanted to say regardless of what the question was. So let me be a little more specific. Thank you, Dr. Jelks. The city and the schools have a relationship that actually goes back to the middle 1990s when we formed the liaison committee, where 3 members of the school board, one of whom is the board president, and 3 members of the city commission, one of whom is the mayor, meet together on a regular, consistent basis and wrestle with issues, try not to step on each other's toes, look for opportunities to work together cooperatively. We formed in the mid-late 1990s, we formed an organization called well, now it's called Our Community's Children. See, that's good. I've already forgotten what it used to be called. But Our Community's Children, which is which has done some grant writing for both. It's owned and up until this budget year was jointly funded by the city and the schools. It's been able to go on its own in terms of its funding source now, so that it doesn't depend on city or school monies. But it has written grants for after-school programming, for assessment of after-school programming, for some other initiatives. When the schools were being built, our engineering department and our equal opportunity department worked quite closely with the schools through from 2005 through the completion of the last school building, when those renovations and new construction were taking place. We've worked actually for decades with the schools on joint city school property, not joint properties, but where city parks abut public schools, and we share maintenance responsibilities, and we work cooperatively in that regard. With respect to literacy, it's huge. I recognized that as a challenge when I took office, with 20% of adults in Grand Rapids being functionally illiterate, reading at a 3rd grade level or below. I know we have a problem in this community, and there's 2 ways to address it, and you need to address them simultaneously. One is from the bottom up, as it were, making sure that children in the schools have the literacy tools available to them, and that they become readers. And then from the top down, making sure that the adults have the skills that they need, and that's how you shrink a 20% problem to a 10% problem, and hopefully below that in the future. So we remain committed to that. The Grand Rapids Community College and the city formed a partnership for literacy that is now extended to a number of other literacy organizations that are working on both literacy for K-5, the elementary, and as well as adults.
Thank you. Quickly, Mr. Datema, if you want to chime in here.
Yes, excellent question, and I didn't cover all the aspects of the ADC. As a private partner, what we're involved with is setting up some of the curriculum for the elective classes that the students will take. The elective classes are all evolving around the areas of design and construction. But the students still go through the same similar core programs in math, sciences, language arts, etc., humanities, that all the other students that do for Grand Rapids Public Schools. What I think will be interesting to see is, through the Centers of Innovation, by providing the students a real vision of what their future can be, by providing them classroom material where they hopefully have an interest and a passion, and providing mentors that will encourage them not only in the design construction classes, but in all their classes, and providing some of those basic tools that the students need to be successful, whether they go on to higher education or if they go straight into a trade after high school. Our goal is to hopefully see a higher performance, higher graduation rates of these students because hopefully we're catering to where their interests are.
Thank you for providing some clarity there, Mr. Datema. I'm going to take one more audience question, and I'll let you interject one of the questions from the email, if that's cool, Mr. Walkers. All right, Board of Education, Ms. Falk.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Jelks and Mr. Walkers for organizing this. My question is to the Burton. I forgot your name.
Mandy Palmer.
I'm really curious. You mentioned at topmost of what you felt was important for your reform model was the leadership. I think a lot of formulas get put out there, but it seems to be real culture change is needed for meaningful reform, and that has so much to do with the quality and type of leadership. So I would like to hear a little bit more, if you could describe the type of leadership you experienced and why that brought about the culture change at Burton.
You know what, Dr. Phelps, I think it would be more appropriate to ask the man who is the leader of the building, Mr. Robert Evans, who's the principal there, as well as Mrs. Carolyn Evans, who's the chief academic officer, since the two of them engineered the leadership of the school.
Let's do it. Mr. Evans.
Good evening, and listen to your question, ma'am. I think the first thing we had to do was get a new mindset of how we wanted to go about to instruct children. And with that mindset, we had to establish a vision that all children can learn regardless of their socioeconomic background. And also, we talked about that learning is based on effort and not on IQ. And with that being said, we looked at the data to drive our instruction. We learned to work as a team and not as individuals going in the classroom and closing the door and doing your own thing. I think also we talked about and also we engaged in just knowing that our work was very important and very, very critical in making a difference in children's lives. Not giving up, having faith in our kids that they can achieve, and also bringing in parents to share our vision and working as a collaborative group. Along with that, we thought again that realistically, if we were going to make a difference, we could not shoot from the hip, but we must look at the data to drive our instruction. Without the data, nothing was going to happen by way of growth and development. Change did not come overnight. We thought outside the box. We said everything we wanted to do was not impossible. We had a realistic vision, a realistic goal, and we moved toward our mark. So we just opened the doors to instruction, opened the doors to collaboration, opened the doors to teaming. We kind of rolled up our sleeves, and we got the job done. Also, we had this group called the Governance Board who came in and spoke with us once a month as to what they want to see happen, and also show us the evidence of what you are doing. Don't just talk the talk, but show us what you're doing by way of material evidence. And with that being said, looking at our objective and goals, in patience and hard work, we got the job done along with our instructional coach and our staff.
Thank you, sir. Before we go to the next question, Mr. Walkers is we had some questions that came to us over on the email. We promised we would get those in, and then I'll take who's ever next. I believe it's you, ma'am. So.